Hello, everybody. Today on Growth Unlock, we're joined by Michele Barrack, the founder and franchisor of Lice Lifters. Welcome, Michele. Great to have you here with us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. So, Michele, you have launched Lice Lifters in 2009 and have grown it into a leading network of non-toxic lice treatment centers with now 17 locations nationwide. And you had quite a tough time during COVID, but you managed to kind of bounce back and achieve rapid post-pandemic expansion that I definitely want to explore a little bit further. But starting off, how did you get around to building such a niche brand in the first place?
Well, through having my own personal experience in my family with lice, 2008, my daughter was sick. My oldest was 6, and we had the whole experience of having lice in our family. And back then, there was barely even a Google. It was there, but not a thing that you automatically knew to do.
Mm,
So we went the traditional route with the over-the-counter product available in the store, and through our own experience learned how ineffective those treatments are because they're pesticide based, and we learned that the lice developed an immunity to those treatments, and so it was really difficult for us to figure out. It kept coming back basically.
mm,
So I did seek out, after weeks, person that came to your house. I lived near Philadelphia, which is about 2 hours from New York, and I learned there was one person in the East Coast Mid-Atlantic area doing this. And it was a big piece of mind, but we got it back again. It stayed in our classroom. Not everybody else knew about this guy, so I just became a very big advocate for using the treatment person, the expert in the field, and we had to use him yet again. So I really learned how to do it. And,
mm.
because I became such a community advocate for it, then I'm a doer, and I already was running a different business at the time. Just organically made this into a little home business, going to people's houses and helping them, learning what tools to use, what products work. And then further, as I was doing this, I did my own research,
Mm,
learning how to evolve the existing products into better products and better tools and a better business model. So
mm.
that's a long story to a short question.
Awesome. I really love how we as entrepreneurs, we just need one kind of idea, one gap that we identified, and you can kind of bloom it out of there with so many directions. And pretty much the franchisee model like comes very naturally from needing this to be like an offline solution, right? And having people a place to come in pretty much every city possible. So that makes perfect sense. And I'm very interested in how did you differentiate yourself in the non-toxic treatment method from, let's say, what people usually find on the shelves? How are you different in what you're kind of offering there?
Okay. Um, yeah, I don't know what you just said. A lot of the best businesses come out of creating a solution to a very big problem. And I learned what a big problem it was, and it was growing.
Mm,
So to answer that question, I learned that the problem stems from the existing products.
mm,
That's the whole reason why lice was so prevalent, because when I was a child, it wasn't prevalent because the products worked. There was no immunity back then. So you used the product, it was toxic, but it worked, and the lice went away. So I knew that for starters. And then through doing some research and development, my differing factor with even other services that use non-toxic products, I'm the only one that uses a non-toxic killing agent. Nobody else has a killing agent.
mm,
So we suffocate all the live bugs, and I figured out what ingredients properly suffocate it.
mm.
And I know why you can't just use olive oil by itself or coconut oil by itself, because of the anatomy of a louse and how they know how to hold their breath and play dead for 4 hours. And
Wow.
by that time, the oil olive oil thins out to the temperature of 98.6 degrees on the head, and it goes through a louse's breathing holes, and the louse can revive itself.
Mm,
It suffocates a lot, but not all of the lice, so it's not going to solve the problem. So I figured out an ingredient, dimethicone, which is in all your shampoos, conditioners, skin lotions. Basically, that it can't go through a breathing hole of a louse and it suffocates it immediately. So
mhm.
knowing that with the cycle of a knit and when they're going to hatch, because we know how to comb out the knits, which are the lice eggs, but knowing how to comb them out properly and if anything's left behind, when to put the solution on again. If any are left behind as they hatch, we zap them when they're babies, basically. And that's our
Mm.
secret, how to do that and knowing the cycle. And then as far as other non-toxic products, we have a whole line and we have a lot of preventative products. So just knowing that peppermint is a big deterrent for not only lice but all insects. So knowing how to make that with combining it with the daily detangler or shampoo or conditioner and the proper lice comb that gets more nits out than any other lice combs out there. That's another key component to being successful in this. And what's in the kit box on the retail store are really bad, cheap combs, and they don't remove all the eggs. So that's the other reason why lice is so prevalent. So
Amazing,
there's a
amazing. You
couple of
built.
things.
And this is what I love about it as well, because you explore, you learn, and you build such a great product if you really spend time on a specific topic, that it just covers all of the problems holistically, not just, let's say, yeah, combing out couple of the lice eggs or just suffocating couple of those, but it actually provides the holistic solution of removing it in one go. Out of curiosity, like, how, like, can you remove the lice within like one day, or is it always like a long-term process?
Well, if you call us and come to our treatment center, it takes us between, I would say, 45 minutes to an hour, hour and a half, depending on how much lice someone has to get rid of it. The follow up with our solution at home, we write it out on a calendar for them when to apply it. But with our treatment, there's no additional combing required at home. So
Wow.
when
Okay.
you leave, our lice solution makes you lice-free and non-contagious because it kills the live bugs, and then you're 99% knit-free.
Mhm,
We cross our T's and dot our I's with our lice solution as an insurance policy with the schedule they go home with to make
mhm,
sure it does not come back again. Now, we also have to educate our families, on checking everyone in the family because it's really contagious.
mhm,
And we have to educate them on trying to have their circle of other extended family and friends come in. Because usually by the time someone finds lice, they've had it at least 2 to 3 weeks. So they didn't know they were spreading it to everyone during
mhm.
that time. So it's important for them to get checked, so they don't get it back from the same source that they got it from.
That's amazing.
Or else
I
it'll keep
really
going
love.
around in the same circle over and over again, which I've
Yeah,
seen
yeah,
happen. So a
yeah.
lot of
It's a
education's required.
yeah, it's amazing like how fast you can get rid of it. But yeah, there's like so much that's going on. Again, like I really love the holistic approach, because you're not just solving that one hat, but you're preventing, you're giving that outcome that the person doesn't even know that they want, but they want, and therefore they leave you such a good review because you basically sorted something that they didn't even know they need sorting out.
Yeah, and then, we have a lot of handouts for them, and one of them is the first question they always ask us is, how do we clean the house?" So
Mm,
we have that all written out so they can go through that and take it home, and we're happy to discuss it with them too while we're treating what to do. It's not as bad as people think what to do in their house.
very nice. Okay. I'm very interested moving forward with, of course, COVID happening. You dropped down to 4 centers only, to
Yep,
now having 17, right?
yep,
And you had 17 2.5 years after COVID.
yes.
Of course, there was demand coming back. That's one of the factors that definitely helped. But also, what specific systems and processes did you implement to not just recover, but achieve such a explosive growth in the franchise expansion?
Well, I mean, prior to having 4 before COVID, we had between 12 and 10 for years and years. We've been doing this
Mm,
for 17 years. So we have a very solid business plan and foundation. So that's solid. And that never went away during COVID. So once the problem of lice started back up after school started and people started being social with each other again, social distancing, no lice.
mm,
Um, then that drew in entrepreneurs because when entrepreneurs came to our treatment centers or competitors and saw how how large the problem of lice actually is
mm,
and how our treatment centers are busy all day and what a business this is, then there's a lot of organic inquiries for franchising with us because
mm,
franchising, being a business owner into a successful niche market with very little competition, certain people like the flexibility of owning their own business. It's a great way to raise children when you own your own business if you have the mindset for it
mm,
because you're able to have other people help you with the business so you have time with your children or take your children to work on a Saturday for a few hours.
mm,
And then it's really good for your children. For me, it was to have them see me at work and be a working mom and be with them and, thinking outside the box.
mm.
But you have to have a certain mindset to be able to because, um, you know, it's not a 9 to 5 job. So you have to answer your phone at 10 at night when someone's calling you with lice and to
Yeah,
book the
absolutely.
you have to work on a Saturday or a Sunday if the call comes in. So you have to have that mindset. And I was very lucky to grow up with entrepreneurial parents. So I grew up in that lifestyle to see them working on Saturdays and Sundays and at nighttime.
Yeah.
But my dad was always my softball coach too. So him
Mm,
owning his own business, he was able to make his own schedule and coach my team every year.
mm.
So that's the kind of lifestyle I wanted with my family.
Amazing. And then that I think also portrays to the accidental discoveries of other entrepreneurs wanting to have a business, wanting to have a similar lifestyle and maybe aligning with you when you're talking about a franchise with the lifestyle that they want to lead.
Yeah, and then a lot of them do it as an investment opportunity. So some of them keep a job, but they already have a flexible job. So in the treatment center, they usually find a space with their own office in it, so
Mm,
they can do two things at once. Because the nice thing about our treatment centers, some days we're busy and we barely have time to eat. But other days we have time to decompress and work on the business, but also work on the other business that they might have at the same time.
mm,
Because they do have technicians in there helping the families. It's a matter of just managing all of
mm,
that. So
mm.
they're entrepreneurial and they wanted a plan B
Yeah.
investment. You never know what's going to happen. So.
Yeah, I gotcha. And it's always good to have like a plan B. And if you can manage all of that together and maybe at some point even transition if you like it
Yes,
better, right? Like it's always good to have that option.
that's always their goal to transition.
Yeah, yeah, at some point. And of course, like even entrepreneurs coming in, they are taking over the franchise as a whole. They're also taking over some of the systems that you've developed, or all of the systems that you've
Yes,
developed. Right? We
yes.
spoke before about having a robust systems, and I want to transition into the marketing part because that's very interesting for us. I think that when we talked, you mentioned that Google compliance has become increasingly strict, right? They're requiring for address verification, signage, even video walkthroughs, right? With such a heavy dependence on local search for lice treatments near me, how are you helping your franchises and your own self navigating these evolving digital marketing challenges while still maintaining the lead gen coming in?
We outsource our search engine optimization pay-per-click programs
Hmm.
to one. I've been using this company for 15 years. So, with one contact person, and he's the expert in he knows the industry inside and out.
Hmm.
And as on top of all the Google requirements. So he's on top of that and letting us know. And it's a very well-oiled machine at this point. So the onboarding process is each step is laid out for the franchisee what to do with
Mm,
to meet all the Google requirements that are in place. I mean, at any given time, because they change it all the time.
yeah.
But as far as how to register the LLC, and it's that critical that our URL matches the name on the lease, that matches the name and address that we tell Google. And then, yeah, they need address verification now with video walkthroughs and things. It's very strict. The game has changed so much.
Mm,
So, and then as far as we coach them all the time on that aspect on it's not just the Google marketing, we're coaching them. They get a marketing manual when they sign on with us, and there's a lot of guerrilla marketing to do in their community. So we have a lot of different marketing ideas that work for us with outreach programs to the parent teacher associations, their local sports teams. There are local school sponsorships, local daycare centers and pediatricians and school nurses. So we have really good programs in place. So it's essentially a business in a box that way.
and I love that you're having the SOPs kind of for everything, because for me it's like so obvious to go after anything that has to do with children, right? Where the lies usually are the most frequently present, and just having that out of the box without having to think about it and figure it out, and also figure out all the changes with Google, all the changes with other channels, or even trying out new channels with expectations of discovering gold somewhere where you might have already tested. Like, that's one of the great benefits of having a franchise where someone already dug the route, but it's still local enough for them to kind of run it in their neighborhood and still be highly profitable. And
Yeah,
I'm
and then added on to what you were just saying, it's also important to have a budget for your marketing because, we know what works and doesn't work. And we also know the ROI, what's going to come in. So we don't want them to spend more than they're going to make either.
mm,
But we don't want them to you have to spend to make money.
yeah.
So it's a fine balance, but we have a very good idea of what their budgets should be for the
Mm.
marketing expenditures.
So you literally give them like everything
Yeah,
that
so
they.
they can optimize their best returns, basically.
Amazing. And what I'm curious about, you've probably already studied some other franchisees and franchise models, or to kind of do the best that you can do to serve your franchisees as well. What's maybe one or two things that are not as obvious for us normal marketers or for brand owners that are very important when launching a franchise or trying to build a franchise? Do you have like some super secret SOPs, or something that, like, let's say McDonald's or KFC have their secret recipes, right? Like, do you have something that's very important, yet maybe not anybody or anyone would be knowledgeable about, needing something like that to have the business going?
Well, in our industry, there's very few competitors in franchising.
Mm,
But we do have an edge and a secret sauce over those other few companies that are out there, and that's the lice solution I discussed with you, which is our killing agent, and how to use it in the way in which we have it used for
mm,
knowing the cycle of the knit. So it's very specific, but that is the secret to our success. And it's our tagline is one quick treatment done, meaning you don't have to come back. And the other locations will recommend that you come back for a retreat. And who has time for that in this day and age? It's just take our solution home, use it how we applied, and then no more combing necessary.
mm,
And that's it. And
mm.
then, tell your friends and family. Nobody else does it the way we do it.
And it's super convenient in this day and age where everybody wants everything instantly. And of course, like, probably other treatment centers also want the recurring customer, more treatments, more money, of course. It's just the name of the game for them. But again, like, you've created a product that's pretty much meeting holistically the expectations or exceeding the expectations of the customer. And that's why it kind of works so well.
Yes, it's the product combined with the process.
Mm, amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
And we spoke before the podcast also about the fluctuations, right? And the seasons for the business. And of course, there's a huge volume of customers that you have during back to school periods. And there's also slower months, right? Where people are not meeting as much. So how that affects your marketing spend or cash flow management, and what maybe creative strategies have you developed to combat these during off-peak periods?
We're steady all year round. So there's always lice business. We're never dead.
Mhm,
I do tell the franchisees, this is a business and any business. I don't know many businesses that every all 12 months are super, super months. So I educate them on, you don't spend all your money, have a rainy day fund. You one month might not be as profitable as our busy August, September, October, November, December, January months.
mm,
So this is your budget every month for marketing. Always have that. No, they know their bottom line expenses every month. They
mm,
know they're working, what they need for working capital. So that's discussed.
mm,
The discussion of planning for their expenses is had. There's a lot of training that goes into training on the business part of it too, the business ownership.
mm.
So all that's covered.
Nice. Okay, very nice. So, and do you have like any paid media strategy specifically for these slower months? Like, are you deploying some extra budget for some other platforms? Any push marketing, some stuff like that?
No, not in our industry. We always run search engine optimization. That's required in the franchise agreement, and it's highly encouraged to always have a pay-per-click program. And Google generates 80 to 85% of our customers. So that has to be running at all times. If there's less, we can track and see by clicks if it's less lice out there. And we know that. So it doesn't mean spend more money. It means
Mm,
just know that right this week there's not an outbreak. Next week there'll be one. If
gotcha.
it's slow one week, then we're ready for a storm the next week. That's
Yeah,
just
yeah.
how it is.
And you can predict it based on the amount of data that you already have, and pretty much prepare for that as well.
Yeah, and it's not always. Like sometimes in March, it's a slow month, March or April. Sometimes we get nonstop outbreaks. I mean,
Mm,
it all depends, a lace outbreak. So we're always prepared for it. We don't say, "Oh, it's April, go everyone reduce your staff." No,
yeah,
because I've had Aprils that have been crazy. It's almost like we don't know, like we're steady all year round. It's a really good business to be in.
amazing. Okay. So, and I can't really imagine that, but maybe you can give me some knowledge on this, because from the positioning of your business is just pretty much on a basis of people needing your service. It's not like you can create that urge, create that problem for a person, right?
Correct, correct,
But we discussed before that TikTok, for example, is something that you've tested, but it has been problematic, right? Due to disrupting your geographic targeting, and also like social media and content marketing. Like organically you can attract something, but doing like a push marketing won't work if the person doesn't have likes, right?
correct.
So what maybe outside of Google have you tried, and maybe you even see like a future potential in terms of maybe expanding your marketing presence?
Well, I mean, as far as AI is concerned, the platforms that we're using are going to be able to program campaigns, like pay per click. All of those search engine can be, I think I see it going with AI doing it for us, and maybe AI pinpointing where outbreaks are and then generating. It will be able to see if people are discussing on Facebook, "Oh, I have lice, what do I do?" And then it can generate an auto answer in that mom's group.
Mm,
I see that starting, that's where it's probably going to go. And that will probably be happening in the next, it's going so fast.
Mm,
that in the next year or 2 for that, because I know on Facebook, we were scheduling with Hootsuite, which you can schedule all your posts, and there's Hootsuite li adjacent type companies or, platforms out there where we were just doing branding posts on Facebook, with our logo and just a quick tip of the day for lice prevention, just so when someone does have a lice outbreak, they'll remember us.
gotcha.
So there's brand awareness campaigns that can be done on Instagram or Facebook, but so you can program all that in advance for the month, what you're going to brand yourself with as a secondary measure. But that's where I see it going in the near future with how AI could be incorporated into all of these campaigns.
Yeah, and that's the actual direction I wanted to go as well. So I'm glad that you brought it up. And I really, really like that prediction because I also think that many services, many businesses that require like a trend booming somewhere and having those prediction tools, even like a predicting of something happening based on some data and just capitalizing on it with being one of the first to jump, right, on that trend is going to be like, yeah, we have an outbreak probably happening in Philadelphia. Let us push some ads towards that area. And even
Yeah.
if it's like a meta ad, it still hits the people that might be figuring out, like, okay, my head scratches. I'll probably have something, and maybe it's lies because I've seen an ad in there. So I
Yeah.
really, really like the direction.
Yeah, like when AI can see a conversation going on social media, everyone asks, "What do I do? What do I do?"
Yeah,
Then we can generate something with a solution.
yeah. Okay, amazing. And I'm interested in, of course, how are you leveraging AI right now in your business, and maybe what are your next moves alongside this one in terms of leveraging AI in your marketing and in your business overall?
Well, my internet marketing company is using AI right now for pay-per-click
Mm.
Google marketing. We're just launching it now, so that's where we're heading with it. I'm sure that will parlay into the search engine optimization part of it as well, where I know they have to do blogs and different freshen up the content and whatever else is entailed with it. And I'm sure AI will start doing that, writing the PR press releases and things like that. That's where we are right now with it.
Are you leveraging it in any way with customer communication or maybe other areas of the business?
Actually, the chat bot on our website is when someone asks an inquiry, that it's AI generated right away to respond to them and driven to try to call the treatment center.
Mm,
I find it best in my industry. It's n it's like when you call a doctor and a doctor has to assess what's going on to schedule the appointment. We have to assess what's going on, how long the appointment should be. It depends on how many children they have, if they've seen lice or if their friend had it. So we can assess if it's just a check or a treatment or 2 treatments or 3 treatments.
mm.
That requires a phone conversation. Do I see AI taking over that aspect with appointment making? Right now, I don't. I know other companies are trying to do that, but I don't see how that's not best for my customers. I'm going to keep this business is really good because it requires people to do the job, and I want people to have jobs.
Mm.
And I don't want everything run by a robot in this world. So, I think it's good to have human to human contact in this business.
I agree at some level. Of course, the automations are great because it saves you time, but there's a fine line where there needs to be a human presence to
Yes.
have it kind of customer satisfaction. Is just about kind of finding it and pretty much just executing on the feedback that you get from your customers. Like
Yeah.
I always say, like it's very simple. Just listen to your customers and implement that, and you'll be just fine. Awesome, Michelle. I have one last question and I'm very, very curious about this one because, of course, Lice business have been pretty much guessing very same or very similar over the period of years that you've been working in the industry. But do you have any predictions in the next 5 to 10 years, or maybe is there anything special that you're planning on introducing, maybe some new products? Like, what do you predict will happen with your business or with the niche itself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, that's a loaded question. My business plan is to keep growing the franchising company. I hope to, we've been adding comfortably 5 to 7 a year, but my goal is to have these all over. So it's a branded name. So you associate, you know how you associate Kleenex with tissues,
Mm,
or Dunkin' Donuts with coffee or Starbucks with coffee. I want to be the name behind Lice treatment.
mm,
So there's only one name people know,
mm,
and that when we have a treatment center or 3, it depends on the size of the city, they'll say, "Oh, just Lice Lifters it."
yeah,
"You
yeah,
get lice, just Lice Lifters it." So that's my goal with the company. As far as the trend, I'm always playing around with new products. I have a few ideas to a new and improved solution, so I'm gonna work on developing that.
mm,
I'm always interested in developing new and natural products.
amazing.
Yeah, and that's it for the near future, the next 5 years.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to predict, beyond that. Hopefully people will just not have to struggle at home with this
Mm,
and know there's a solution that's safe, effective, and quick so they can get back to work. A lot of people don't know about us. They struggle like I did. They follow the route I took. They struggle with the crappy products. I wasted $150. They probably waste 2, 300. And then they Google and figure it out. I feel bad for all the cities we're not in right now, for
yeah.
people that don't have a solution. I mean, we are on Amazon and we have a treatment kit. We have treatment. All the products are available. They have to wait a day or 2 to receive the product and then they have to figure out how to do it themselves. And combing is not easy. It's always best for us to do it for you. It's to become like
Awesome.
a household name.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to when lice lifting will be something that's used in the same way as Google is, right? I'll Google that as lice lifter, those lice,
Yes.
and we'll have another podcast to chat about your journey there and what you've learned and what you've implemented and what strategies we can learn from you.
That'd be great. I look forward to it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you very much for jumping on, Michelle. Thank you very much for sharing your journey, sharing your strategies. And yeah, I hope that we'll get to talk more strategy down the line.
Thank you very much for having me and taking the time to talk with me today.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. And thank you everyone for listening and watching. And I'll speak to you in the next one. Have a nice one. Bye bye.
Bye, everyone.